So welcome to Low Budget Family Hour's presentation of Geeking Things.
Our first episode today is we're going to talk about Deathlands. So we're going to compare the movie versus the books/audiobooks.
And I have not read any of the books or listened to the audiobooks, but I did watch the movie.
I have had two full read-throughs of all the audiobooks through Graphic Audio, and I have finally finished watching the movie. So we're going to discuss what's good about them, what's not good about them, and let's just see what there is. To give you a quick general background of Deathlands, it is in a world that it's 100 years after a nuclear exchange between the United States and Russia. It has a little bit of everything. There's aliens, there's matter transfer technology, there's even time travel. There's mutants of all type, some human-like, some not. Pretty diverse land where they have pretty much a right to do anything they want. So that's just a quick background. The main characters in Deathlands, there's Ryan Caide. He's the tall brunette guy with an eye patch because he's missing an eye. There's Christy Roth, a female companion who has some mutant powers of her own. She can use her hair to pick up things, and she can call on Gaia's strength for anytime they need to really bust out, and there's nothing else that'll save them. There's J.B. Dix, John Barrymore Dix. He is the weapons master. He's memorized every magazine that had anything to do with guns or ammo. He could tell you anything about anything, fix it, make them work. Then there's Doc Tanner, Theophilus Algernon Tanner. He's the time troll guy, so there's where the time travel comes in. He's born in 1863 in Shaftsire, Vermont, something like that. And as part of an experiment, they brought him forward in time to the 90s, right before the nuclear war went off, January 21st, 2000. And then when he didn't get along, they kicked him another 100 years in the future, and that's where Ryan found him. And then there's Jack Lauren, who is an albino, not a mutie, and he is a Cajun boy, and he's probably one of the best trackers, hunters, knife fighters the world has ever seen. So that's the quick background about Deathlands. So first we're going to talk about the movie. It's from 2003 by Universal Studios. So when I first saw that, I got excited. I'm like, wow, maybe they have a decent budget.
Right.
Because one thing that you're going to hear us talking about quite a bit is adaptations.
Right.
Whether it's from books, especially books you love, Wheel Time, and everything else, to the TV shows that flopped, Dresden, Sword of Truth. We could go on there.
So one of them was alright-ish.
It was okay until you read the books. And that's another topic for all you haters out there of the Sword of Truth. If you stop at the right time, it's a great series. You just need to know when to stop. Okay, so big budget movie, Universal. What did you think?
Okay, well, having no experience in the world at all, I thought it looked kind of otherworldly. They definitely had a feeling that made it look like it wasn't here. There was a lot of, variety of characters, which I thought were really cool, interesting characters. And it didn't seem like it had too terrible of effects. So, but having, nothing to compare it against, it seemed pretty decent. I was able to keep up with the show. I didn't get bored by it. The characters were interesting, and it was exciting enough. Yeah. So it's pretty good.
It seemed like they had some type of red filter on the camera.
Right.
Because everything had this haze, which, we don't have a blue haze outside. When our sky's blue, they could have had a normal, but it did lend to the effect to make you think it was almost kind of like, Fallout, that type of video game
after
time. Because it is kind of the same thing, except I don't think Fallout's 100 years after it. Now, the movie was based off a book called Homeward Bound. It was in the first 5, 6, 7 books in the series. Mm-hmm. And because I have listened to that audiobook at least twice, and it follows it pretty good. The only thing that didn't follow it is they eliminated Doc Tanner from the movie. I read up a little bit on the internet just trying to figure out why, because to me he's one of the most entertaining characters. But if you don't listen to the audiobooks and know this actor who portrays this guy with this Victorian accent and everything. It just the way he talks, the way he just interacts with people. The actor pulls it off. If you're just reading the book, he might just seem like a doddering old fool that has nothing to really contribute. So, but to me, it was a loss not having him in there. And
I have no experience with that, so.
And they said Jack
he
was
tried
a
to
mutie.
explain
He's
to
not
me
mutie.
how he was missing from the story, but I it was just adapted him out of it, so it didn't show a missing place. I mean, they did a good job of filling in the place and making it not feel like there was someone missing, but to someone who's already read it and knows that he's a very important part, I could see where it would seem like it was just not right to have the character gone.
Now, there are many other characters that come and go with the group, most notably Mildred Wyeth, who's another time traveler through a more conventional means. She was cryo-frozen after a procedure that didn't go well, so they froze her so they could heal her later. But, in a couple months, the world blew up, so she's kind of stuck down in an ice cube. So,
Was she in the movie?
No.
Oh, okay.
That was about another 10, 15 books after the movie. She's just one of those long-term characters that's always there because she's a doctor, and of course she was Olympic silver medalist in target shooting, so that comes really in hand when you're in the Deathlands. So I thought the movie was great for what it was. I wish they wouldn't have changed the character too much, but they did stick to the plot of the book, and that was one of the better books. So during that time period,
the character of Jack.
Well, they messed up Jack too because Jack's not a mutie. He's just an albino. And he didn't have any mutie powers. He didn't need mutie powers because Jack Lorne's Jack Lorne. He's a knife fighter.
From what I saw in the show, he seemed to always be the person that was expected to fail and an easy take or whatever, but he'd always surprise the person who tried to take him and end up coming up with some kind of skill at knives or something else that was just... they didn't expect it, they didn't see it coming, and he's just this little guy that seems like he's really nice and friendly and easy to push over, but he always won.
And he's like an acrobat. He can jump and do flips. I mean, and on top of all that, he just the way he... Well, it doesn't show it in the movie, but in the books, in his jacket, he has razor blades sewn in. So if anybody tries to grab him,
that's right,
it cuts their fingers off or to ribbons. And
yeah.
So everybody's all careful around him. Nobody gives him hugs because they're like, well, Jack, come on. You gotta take your jacket off.
That wasn't in the show either, or the movie.
So do you have anything else to add?
I mean, I enjoyed the movie. It was exciting. It was well made from what I could tell. I mean, it seemed kind of, I think it was purposefully supposed to look kind of B-movie-ish. At least that's what I took from it. But I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I might... no, I won't.
No.
Too many. I was going to say, I might read the book series now because of the movie, but I take that back because there's just so many
they're
books.
up to like 150 or something like that. Now, granted, they're all short books. They're trucker books. They're meant to be listened to in a whole day of a trucker driving his 7+ hours that he can drive during the day. They even have advertisements of some of the audiobooks about order them forward and you can pick them up at the truck stop on your way.
Right.
So... Now, the books, they're predictable. I mean, you kind of know it's going to happen, but you don't know how it's going to happen, and then they throw in everything they can. So if you're in the type of post-apocalyptic fantasy, sci-fi, then this is a great time sink. Do it while you're doing dishes, while you're doing some work. Great thing to have.
Yeah. And I'd say the movie's at least,
it's watchable.
It's worth a go.
It's worth a watch. It'll let you get an idea. And... just so you know, when you saw the fan art that we put up of the characters earlier, there's not a lot of options on the internet to show, it's not this huge of a thing. But the people that were cast, they fit the character's description totally.
Yeah.
I mean, Ryan could have been taller and bigger because of how he is, but they did not, they got the looks good. All right. So thank you for watching our first episode of Geeking Things, and we look forward to having you back on our show next time.